Okay, so what we'll start with is the myofascial release practice. I left my therapy balls, but I found some trusty tennis balls, so I'm just going to use these to demonstrate. So you'll want to use your two balls for the practice. You can, for the first one, keep them in the bag, and the spot we're going to work on finding is at that space right at the top of the shoulder blades in the center. So I'm just going to put them on my back where you can see the area that we're looking for right about there. So once you have the balls handy, you can lie down on your back. I usually like to start placing them from above and then just kind of scooching down until they're right into that appropriate spot. So once you're there, just take a couple of breaths. You can let the back of the head come into the mat, the arms relaxing, maybe a little wider out to the sides with your hands. Tends to give you a little more space. You can find a little more ease there. And just some nice deep breaths in and out through the nose. And bringing your focus, if you need to, letting the tip of the tongue rest on the roof of the mouth. Find the soft palate with your awareness and just guide your attention to the back of the soft palate where it meets the throat, to the center of the skull where it sits atop your spine. And just focus into that space for a couple of breaths as well. Noticing any tensions in the body, especially in the face, the jaw, or in the shoulders, the upper back, wherever you feel the balls pressing. Just becoming aware of the upper body. Taking a few more breaths. And then once you feel a little more settled and comfortable on your inhale, you'll reach the hands up towards the ceiling and then let the arms drop over the top of the head towards the floor above you, just however far you can go with that. Pause there for a breath or two and just feel the different position of the arms, what it creates in the upper back. And then the arms coming back down. You can do whatever breath works with you, but I usually like to inhale when I'm reaching overhead, creating a nice sense of space, a little lift of the shoulders towards the skull, and then exhaling, bringing it back down. You might also try elbows bent for a few rounds, just see if that gives you any different sensation, or that works better for you, or if it's a little more challenging, just whatever keeps you interested and present, engaged into the little bit of movement and waking up the shoulders, upper back. So just a couple more rounds there on your own. And you can again always feel free to take a little bit more time in any of these movements too if you really got some stuff going on. So the next movement, the windshield wipers, just arms out to the sides. Again, as you start to get over the height of the shoulders with your hands relative to your body, you might just lift the hands away from the floor to go a little bit further into that range of motion, but you don't have to. You can stop wherever if there's too much intensity, or if you just want to kind of pause and feel out a certain space of the movement. So again, inhaling on the way up, and exhaling, bringing it back down. You can keep the palms facing up. You might try rotating so that the palms face towards the center on the bottom position, palms facing towards the ceiling when you're about shoulder height, and then palms again facing towards each other overhead. That's just a way to work into a little bit of a rotation of the arm bones. There's something a little different there that you can add if you feel comfortable to do so. Being mindful of the spaces where you feel that tight spot or that tight part of the range of motion. And really breathing deeply, focusing again to the back of the soft palate. The little reach through that space helps just to bring some balance to the musculature of the upper back. Okay, and then when you feel like you've gotten kind of loosened through that, you can move the balls down a little bit simply by rolling your body towards the back of your mat. So the balls reach the bottom tips of the shoulder blades. You're going to grab hold of opposite elbows, just pull the arms side to side for a few breaths. Doesn't matter how far you go towards the floor, but you're just, again, opening up those spaces in the mid-ribs, using your breath. letting things loosen up. Once you're a little more loose, elbows drop to the floor on either side, fingers start pointing up towards the ceiling, and then you'll let the arms drop towards the top of the mat or the back of the mat. And then turning your fingertips towards the front of the mat, or the space where your feet are, and doing that movement a few times. You can make this kind of a progression of the snow angels, going from your goalpost position, stretching the arms back up, and then bending the elbows, bringing the fingers down, and then reaching your hands down. So that's just a little bit more of a kind of dynamic coordination. If you prefer here too, you can also just do that simple snow angel again. So either of those movements work great here. Again, 5 to 10 rounds of movement's a good number to go for. You can do a little bit less, a little bit more, depending on what you've got time for and how your body's feeling. Okay, so that's the stuff for the upper back. The next portion we're going to work into, and I'm just going to touch base on this really quickly. Again, you can kind of take some extra time to do it on your own. We'll take one of the balls, place it with the same side hand that you're going to work on, just on the front of your pec or your chest muscle. It's between the collarbone and kind of the nipple area there is where you're aiming for, and then the other hand places the block on top of the ball and a light pressure downward as you just gently start to kind of move the ball around. You're feeling again for any muscle spaces that are a little more tender or sensitive. Or you might even feel like a little knot or bump in the muscle space anywhere. So if you find anything like that, just hold light pressure, and then again you're going to work with that flexion extension in the shoulder joint for a few breaths. Now, a good space to focus into here, the center of the collarbones, slightly drawing up towards the chin tucking towards the collarbone. So that will actually help to kind of open up the chest muscles a little bit by creating space in the front ribs. So after you do a few rounds here, you can take again that little snow angel motion, and feel free to move the ball too, so you might find again a couple of different spots as you work through each side. And this is just kind of clearing out any, again, muscular connective tissue gunk that might be kind of binding the muscles together, freezing up the joint any amount, and we're just clearing that out. Deep breaths again to really help get the energy moving from the inside. You can also just play around with any other movements there, so like a circle on the ceiling with your hand or something like that. You can try with the elbow bent, see if that gives you just any different sense or feeling of the movement. Okay, so once you get one side, you're just going to go to the other. And again, just massage the space a little bit with the ball pressing down, the block kind of applying pressure that way. Once you find a good spot, you're flexing, extending the shoulder, moving really slow, breathing deeply. Again, it's not about how far you go or how many rounds you get through, more so just really tuning in, being aware of these little areas of resistance or tension, stuck energy, whatever you want to look at it as, that is present in your upper body there. And you're moving, you're breathing to clear that out. You can also remember to spread the fingers open. That opens up some of the pathways, the channels of the upper body. So once you feel complete with the second side, no rush. You can go ahead and release, and I kind of rushed through that again, so feel free to take some more time to do that on your own, or again, you can do that just kind of as an individual thing if you feel any tension in the shoulders, chest, or neck in the upcoming weeks.